Well, we won't do the whole lesson again. But no, because you were here. All right. So if you're listening in on YouTube, sorry, I forgot to start the recording. We've just done these two examples here. Okay, but you should be able to follow that pretty well. All right. So let's keep going, everyone. All right. So there's a lot there. So I will give you some time. I think. Why don't you just take a moment to read it first? Then I'll solve it, and then I'll let you copy it down. I think you will have done questions like this last year in year 10. So it shouldn't feel completely new. But I also understand that you don't always remember everything from one year to another, and that's why we're going over it again. Now, let me just say that this is not how we figure out how much something costs in the real world. This is more like a puzzle. Most of the questions in the textbooks are puzzles. I can talk about how simultaneous equations are used in the real world soon, if you like. But for our class, it's more of a technique that you need to know. Alright, so let me read the question to you. So, we know two facts. I don't know how much an apple and an orange cost. And that's what I want to find out. But I do know that if I have 5 apples and 4 oranges, the total price is $9.80. And if I have 2 apples and 3 oranges, the combined price is $5.60. What I want to know is how much does 1 apple on its own cost, and how much does 1 orange on its own cost. I have started the question for you, and when you sit your exam or test, I will actually give you the variables. You will just need to set up the equations for me. So right now, all the information is tied together in a knot. It's tangled together. But using the method of simultaneous equations, we can untangle this. But we need 2 equations. So think about what we just did. Can anyone propose an equation that we could write down? Maybe using the first dot point. Don't try trial and error. I just want an equation.
We just go C equals and then you go 5x plus 4y.
Okay, we can actually say more. Do we know the cost?
Yeah. We are $9.80.
Okay.
C means cost. And then can you just do algebra now?
So let's just pause there. $9.80 equals 5x plus 4y. Are you seeing where this equation came from? It's actually exactly the same as the one on the previous page. 5 apples and 4 oranges. But now I know that the combined price is $9.80. So now we can change the value of C there. Okay, so if I were to read this equation, I would say $9.80 is the combined price of 5 apples and 4 oranges. Now, then ask you a question. Can we just use algebra now to figure out x and y? Well, Tyler's right. As I said last lesson, we don't use any algebraic methods in this class to solve simultaneous equations. Right, you just need to use the CAS. But we don't have enough information yet.
Oh, we
You
need
need two equations. Maddie, what do you reckon?
So, wait, I have a question.
You have a question? Please go ahead.
The 5, the number of apples and the X, the price of them, and the 4 is the number of the oranges and the Y is the price of them?
That's right, as I've written here.
Alright.
A good question. Because if you put it the other
I
way,
was more just wondering for the X and the Y for the rest of them.
yeah. Yeah, so if you were in a different maths class, I would require the students to set this up themselves, which would make the question harder. But I will tell you what variables, what x and y mean. Okay? That's to make your life easier. All right, someone from this table here. Can you tell me the second equation?
Wait, so is that the equation? So we have to do this.
So I've got this equation here, the first one. Now I want to turn the second one into an equation. So do you want to have a go, Maddie?
560
Mm-hmm.
equals 2x plus 3y.
That's it.
Oh, there you go. First question I got right.
Okay, so this belongs in here. So I'll just write it again, just so that it's clearer. So remember year 11s. Simultaneous means at the same time. So if I ask you to solve simultaneous equations, you're going to need more than one equation. If you just gave me the first equation, you won't be able to complete the question. So you're going to need two.
Wait, so we have one and a.
Yes, that's the question. Right? So you actually have a question just like this on the assignment that's due next Tuesday. On the last page. It's literally, I've changed the apples and oranges to something else. I've changed the numbers. But the structure of the question is exactly the same. I'll say, set up the equations, and then solve them. So we've got the equations. Now we need to deploy the CAS calculator. So if you've got one, now's a good time to get it out. And I will just go next door to get the overhead projector so that I can show it on the screen. So I'll do
Actually, you should add with one man.
So by the way, when you sit your tests next week, you may also need to be able to do this. So if you don't know off the top of your head how to solve simultaneous equations on your CAS, well, you may want to write this down.
Wait, we're doing tests next week?
Yes.
No, he's just joking.
Not joking.
What, you're not joking?
No.
I'm just gonna pull my hair out now. No. I have dreams.
Kalisha, could I have my CAS for a second, please?
I got them from my dog.
Thank you.
Welcome. Take a photo. Give it a thumbs up.
Okay, so I already showed you how to do this on Tuesday. Well, that's why I'm going over it again. All right. So if you turn your calculator on, most of you will be at the main menu. So you'll want to create a new document. Okay?
And perhaps.
Now, if you're prompted to save your old document, you can just say no. And then what you want to do is add a calculator. Now, does anyone remember how to get to menu? So there's literally a button that says menu here where my thumb is.
Probability.
Menu,
JK. Algebra.
algebra.
System of equations. Solve the linear equation.
Sorry, it's actually quite hard to. It's very hard to hold the mouse. I'm going to make sure that we can see. Is that too small? Hard to see though, isn't it? I'll go back to the hand. Okay, so menu, number 3, algebra. Okay, so from a new document, you add a calculator, then you press menu, then you go to the third option, algebra, then you go to the 7th option, solve system of equations. All right. It doesn't matter which option you pick after this. Can you pick the first or second one? I'll just go with the first one. You need 2 equations. Okay. Ben, Tyler. So once you've selected the solve system of equations, you'll need to type both equations in. So I'll go back to the notes. The first equation was 9.8 equals 5x plus 4y. So go ahead and type that in. Sorry, not that one.
Holy crap.
Is that, you can't see that, can you? This is. Can you see that?
By 9.8.
You might be scared slide off you.
It's way too easy to miss. Half the strength in this way. Everyone really wants your trying to help.
I can't remember what we did last lesson that made us able to see it.
Did we have ones that are like to look the other?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, but not that one.
Yes, you have one.
They shut
You
up.
can't just do big ones. You gotta do big ones.
Alright, I'm just going to turn the lights back on.
Now you have to do this side, otherwise it just doesn't work. No. No, because now.
Oh, look at that.
It looks
What
better.
would you do? Look at
No,
that.
it doesn't.
Oh.
It
looks better.
Oh, wait, I can see that no right. Oh, it's like you can't see anything.
Yes.
Well, look at your hat.
Okay, year 11s, settle down. I'm going to go back to the hand. I'm sorry about this. This is actually quite frustrating for me as well. Can you? Yep. Can you see that?
No.
So how come you can't see that? Is that what's the issue?
Everything.
Oh, it says 8.
Yeah.
So John had a great idea to put it on an angle.
But then
It's not.
the camera goes
Right.
Oh.
That's.
This is actually very small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maddie, you'll calculate it.
Thank you, John, for the idea to put it on an angle. Alright. We got there again. Okay, so I'm going to go from the beginning again, in case we missed it. Okay, menu. Then number 3, algebra. Our next quiz test, I won't be telling you how to do this, so you all need to know how to do this in your class.
Oh,
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
oh, she's got a access on or something.
Is that a top on Sunday?
No, that's a HCA.
Isn't that right?
This one there next to Tyler. Back to go into a computer.
I've got Mac.
Does it map on the USB port?
No.
No, Mac.
Mac's are special.
No.
Oh, clearly.
Even this one. I'll get into
Do any of you have a Windows computer?
Yeah, but I'm not.
Bro.
Maddie, I'll let you
Okay.
usually use this one. Okay.
I tried.
Alright.
Yeah. No. No, it's just outside.
Did I see the ground?
Okay, 11. So much for not listening. So stop talking now. Alright, hands up if you were able to solve the system of equations. You don't need to go through it again. No, so you want me to go through it?
I just don't get any time.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll go through it. So I can only go through this if everyone's quiet. Let's see. Ben, Bruce, that's enough. Tara. Okay. So, menu, algebra. You can't see that, can you?
I can say. Can't you turn the screen buttons down? That won't help. Or could do the screen.
I don't know what the issue is anymore.
Can't you just say the name of the button? I'm sure everyone
I can, yeah.
I figured it out.
Okay, so menu, algebra, solve system of equations. Select the first option just for simplicity. A screen will come up saying number of equations. It'll say 2 by default. Press OK.
Wait, is it never not true? Ever not?
Yes, but not until later in the units. Okay. So for this topic, it always use. Okay. Alright, and once you do that, you will get something which I want to be able to show you.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Emily.
Maddie.
Sorry, Maddie, yeah.
No, you're fine.
Sorry.
In the test, if we don't know how to figure out our calculators, would you be able to help us? Just get onto the setting.
I will consider it.
No, it's like you're not
Yes.
actually.
Yeah. So if it's a calculator issue, I can help. But if you don't know how to do it, then I probably won't help you. Because the reason for this is when you sit your exam next year in year 12, the invigilator won't help you with your calculator. I believe it's 1 and 1.2 because that's how I set it up. That's what I set up last night. So your calculator, when you type it in, will look like this. You'll have two boxes, and then you'll have a comma and the X and Y. The calculator will type this in for you. So what you want to do is type in the equations into those boxes. So the first equation will go into the first box. The second equation will go for the second box in the second box. So we should say 9.8 equals 5x plus 4y, and then 5.6 equals 2x plus 3y. And once you do that, the boxes will be gone. Okay, so hands up if you have not been able to get the solution. Then I can come and help you. So you've all got it? If you've got a CAS. All right, just show me quickly. Yes. So just check you enter Okay, year 11s. Got an idea. So, if you didn't use the CAS just now, why don't you, so if you did use the CAS, why don't you give the CAS to the person next to you who didn't have the CAS, and they can go through the steps as well. And maybe your partner can help you find it. All right, year 11s, I'm very sorry about the tech issues.
Technical difficulty.
Oh, I was still writing down 5 the cost of 1 apple, 1 orange. I have to write this down. How did you manage that?
Oh yes, we need the answer. So you'll find x equals 1, y equals 1.2. Now I want to be very clear. I don't think this is answering the question. I want a sentence. So if I say to you, how much does an apple cost? And you tell me x equals 1, y equals 1.2, I don't know which number is which. So can someone put this into a sentence for me?
An apple would cost.
So go for it, Maddie. An apple would cost?
Would cost $1.
Yep.
And an apple would cost. An orange would cost. Okay,
That's it.
I can be fruit dyslexic as well if I want to. Yeah.
Mac, John? So if I could have everyone listening. John, Mac. So let me be very clear. I want you to write a sentence for me. Okay, don't just write down a number. Give it to me in a sentence. That applies on the assignments and the tests next week.
Right, so I wrote an apple would cost $1 and an orange would be
$1.20. Yes. That sentence demonstrates to me that you understand what X and Y mean.
I don't understand the solve and all the yellow bit. I don't understand.
That's just the stuff you put into the calculator. Okay? I would have shown it on the projector, then we couldn't see it. Okay, let's finish off. This is it. Okay, and then we're done with chapter 5. Yes, and you can work on the exercise as well. Alright, let's see this works. So, copy down example number 4.
Yes,
Huh? Good? Okay, so I want everyone listening.
What's the second word after that?
Ash has asked a question. Which word are you looking at? Which line? Sum. S-U-M.
Sun or sun?
S-U-M. Sum. Sorry. Okay, I'll make that clearer. The sum.
There must be something. It looks like some. I heard you first time. There must be something. You never laugh, man.
I did. I laughed the first time.
Okay, that's enough. Enough bad humor. Alright.
Do you have good humor?
No, I didn't say I had better humor. I just said it was bad. Alright, so did you solve questions like this last year in year 10? Most of you are saying no.
No.
Okay. Alright. I think what I'll do is I'll show you how to do the first one, and then you can have a go at the second one. So I've got two numbers. I've got two numbers, and I'm giving you two pieces of information here. The first piece of information is they add up to 500. The second piece of information is one is larger than the other by 150. I don't know what the two numbers are, and I want to find them out. And once you've got some experience, you'll recognize this immediately as an application of simultaneous equations. So we're going to use that to solve this. So I've set it up for you. I don't know what the numbers are, so I'm going to call them x and y. So I need to write down two equations involving both the numbers. All right, so let's start with the first piece of information. The sum is 500. What does sum mean?
The added numbers together.
Great. Okay, so if I add the numbers together, I get 500. So this is going to be my first equation. X plus y equals 500. Is that all right? Because right now it's a blob of words, but to get from there to here actually requires a lot of understanding. So I don't know what the numbers are. Then I'm going to call them x and y, and I know they add up to 500. So if I add x and y together, I get 500. That's the first equation. Any ideas for the second piece of information?
One of the numbers is larger
By 150. So now I need to turn it into an equation. Yep, so what could I write down as an equation, Emily? What are you pointy thing? All right, I'll give you a hint. Which operation, plus, minus, times, or divide, do you use to find the difference? Take away. Take away is when you find a difference.
X minus y equals 150.
So it doesn't matter whether you put x minus y or y minus x, but the first one will be the larger number. Like the first one in the equation. So if I put y first there, then y would end up being the larger number.
Wait, so does y equal 150 or does x equal 150?
Neither, because 150 doesn't work. Yeah. What are you thinking, Jai and Mac? You're talking about something? It might be interesting for the class to know about. What are you guys chatting about? Because you're pointing here. The 150? Okay. Mac has asked, where does the 150 come from? So Mac, I've underlined a couple of lines in orange. Speak up, Mac. No. Okay, year 11s. I've decided that I'm going to finish with this example and let you do some work. So the last step is to put these equations into your CAS calculator. Okay, so if you haven't already used the CAS calculator, you might want to find one near you and have a go using it. Say it again, Emily.
Wait, no, but I'll figure it out. Oh. I'm 20. Get this to choose the one size.
Hmm?
She scored. She'll get the one size. I figured it out. Oh no, they equal. No, they equal. X equals 325.
There you go.
Wait, X equals. Really? That's minus. What does X equal? What's X equal? X equals 325 and Y equals 23. What's that? X equals 325. You can't put that into a word. And Y equals.
Yes, please.
The other day when I was doing my assignment, I asked if I had to put the answers to this, and you told me not to.
Which question?
Had numbers.
Okay, so if it says calculate a number, then you
No,
don't
I
need to
don't
say.
want to calculate. Well, it was like a
Yeah, okay.
I can't remember, but I remember you told me that I didn't have to write
So I think what I meant was for that particular question. I wasn't saying for the whole assignment you don't need to write it. I'm sorry if there was a misunderstanding there. That's my mistake.
I can't put math into English.
You can. Yeah. Okay, year 11s listening. We are finished now. So if you did this correctly, you will have found x equals 325 and y equals 175. And you'll see that the numbers do indeed add up to 500, and one is larger than the other by 150. So if you want, you could say the two numbers are 175 and 325. Okay, we'll do example 5, but I just want to write down the equations. So they add up to 500. That's one equation. Now, the second piece of information in this question is, so you guys will want to listen to this because there's a question like this in your work program. One of the numbers is 5 times as large as the other number. So I'm still going to say x and y are two numbers. How can I put this sentence into an equation? Go for it, Em. So start again. X times 5. You're on. This is going to work if you go down this route. Equals y. You're done. That's your second equation. Or 5x equals y.
Should we write this down?
Yeah, I'll write that.
Well, that means I have to start off on the page. Don't worry, Seth.
Okay. Understanding is more important. Okay, so if you understand this, that's the most important part. Okay, I'll go back. So this is what I want you to work on today. If you want practice with simultaneous equations, you should work on exercise 5i. Particularly setting up the equations, that's usually the hardest part for students at this level. Okay, once you're happy with 5i or today's class, then you can continue working on assignment 1, which is due next Tuesday. Some of you have almost finished it. If you've done that, then you can go back to your work program. And finally, if you want to take notes into your test in your bound reference, you can also write those as well. Okay, so there's plenty to do today. So everyone should have something to do.
Can I do this?
Yes. Yes, Emily?
Would you be able to go back to the other
Of course.
so I can put it
Yep.
in?
All right, so before I release you to do some work, are there any questions on simultaneous equations that you want to ask me? All right, you may start work. Thank you. I'll go back just one